Good morning. I hope you are well. It's Wellness Wednesday and I have a beautiful breeze out my window today, so hopefully I'll be able to go for a little run at lunchtime. It's not too hot today, and hopefully summer's coming to an end. I think we've had a long summer. So I thought I would share a little bit today about self-awareness and what is the benefit of self-awareness and how to become a more self-aware person, because the reality is that the more mindful we are, the more we foster self-awareness, and the more we want to seek to improve ourselves. And a frightening statistic is that only 10 to 15% of people are self-aware. If you think about that, it's not such a great thing. It's like the scary statistic that only 2% of people will self-actualize. So it made me think a lot about self. And I've dragged my whiteboard out of its dusty resting place and cleaned off all the kids' drawings to demonstrate a little bit about self today, because there's many different aspects to ourselves, and it's kind of a journey of self-discovery, but it's also an uncomfortable journey, because once you become aware of something, you can either ignore it or you can try to improve it, change it, understand it, etc. And it's much easier to be to ignore the self and all that rises up within it, and to be unconscious in what we do and feel and think and how we act, because it's far more comfortable, I think, to be unconscious than to be conscious, because when you're conscious, you're constantly reflecting and reviewing things, which is an amazing thing, but also a blessing and a curse. So I have come to that realization myself. So I call self-awareness a journey. It's an ongoing journey, because the more self-aware you become, the more work there is to do. So when I think about self-awareness, everyone knows that I'm a fantastic drawer. I'm great at drawing stick people, which is, you've seen some funny drawings that my 4-year-old has done as me as a stick person. So this is me as a stick person. So everything that starts with self, I've just put on here. You can Google tens of thousands of words starting with self, but I feel that these are probably some of the most important ones. So we talk about self-image. Now, in terms of self-image, there's how others view us and there's how we view ourselves internally. So external self-image, which is what other people will see, and internal self-image is to what you will see. If you think about self-image, and you're worried about your external self-image, then you would all the time be worrying about what people think of you. If it's internal self-image, then you may be a harsh critic on yourself, because you're constantly assessing yourself. Self-worth, self-esteem, self-control, self-esteem, self-love, self-importance. This is one that's very interesting. If you read articles about self-importance, you may recognize some traits for yourself about where you are practicing self-importance to the detriment of others, or to the detriment of your colleagues or your family or your friends, etc. So it's kind of important. A key skill of self-awareness is to understand where you are with self-importance. Self-motivated, that's a great thing. So you can be intrinsically motivated, which tends to be self-motivated, or you can be extrinsically motivated, which means you're reliant on other people to put pressure on you to be motivated. So understanding that about yourself is really interesting. Self-assured, well, many of us would love to be self-assured all the time. That's not always the case. Self-depreciating, so we can all lean on this from time to time, and I certainly do with my drawing ability, because it kind of keeps us real and more authentic, etc. But self-denying is also another key thing which a lot of us do. So we might deny and self-sabotage. Actually, I haven't put self-sabotage on here, but self-denying can be a form of self-sabotage. Self-made, wouldn't we all love to be self-made? Self-respect, self-obsession, self-awareness, and self-image. So those are all things that relate to self. Overarching self-awareness, you can become mindful and focused on each of those things, and kind of assess yourself of an ongoing period of time, which really helps with kind of personal growth, letting go of challenges, becoming your authentic self, living to your values, understanding your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors, and how you show up in the world around you, and really to visualize the best version of yourself. So what are the benefits of self-awareness? It gives us the power to influence outcomes. It helps us become better decision makers. It gives us more self-confidence. So as a result, we communicate with clarity and intention. It allows us to understand things from multiple perspectives, and that's super important. It frees us from our assumptions and our biases. It helps us build better relationships. It gives us a greater ability to regulate our emotions. It decreases stress, and it makes us happier. So those are the benefits of self-awareness. And as I said at the start, it's documented in leadership studies that only 10 to 15% of people are self-aware. Would it be beautiful if more people fostered self-awareness, because then we would have happier, less stressed people with a greater ability to understand multiple perspectives, and we'd be freed of our assumptions and biases. So we could better influence things, for starters. So that would be really super awesome and beautiful. So how do we become a more self-aware person? So first thing is to visualize the best version of yourself. Ideal selves, so those that have their ideal self-awareness is they are able to reflect on their hopes and dreams. Reflection is a huge one when it comes to self-awareness. Aspirations, they're able to speak confidently about their skills, abilities, achievements, and what and how they wish to attain them. They also ask what questions. Often we ask why. Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling happy? Why am I good at this? Why am I good at that? Maybe asking what questions is actually more beneficial, because you can say, what happened in this instant and how did I react? What can I do? What? If you're asking yourself the what questions, you have a better ability to kind of show up for yourself in a more proactive and empowered way. Naming your feelings, this is critical. So it's critical in decision making. So if you let your feelings overwhelm you, you can make bad decisions with unintended consequences. So once we start to understand our feelings, we label and we name our feelings, and we're aware of when they're coming up and why they're coming up and what triggers we have, then you can better control your feelings, which allows you to better influence outcomes. And journaling is a great way to pay attention to what's going on in your private self as well as your public self. So it gives you the ability to recognize what you're doing that is serving you or not serving you, and to be really reflective on what went well today, why did it go well today, how did I show up for myself, how did people respond to me today, so on and so forth. And really practicing mindfulness, because it is a practice and it helps you be aware of what's going on in your body, as well as your mind and your environment. And often we need to switch ourselves out of our amygdala brain, which is our reptilian brain, and use more of the prefrontal cortex, which is our human thinking brain, in order to better navigate circumstances and situations. And we can only really do that if we're fully aware of our reactions and practice mindfulness, and we observe ourselves in that frame of reference. If we're observing ourselves and we're more self-aware, we can step back and look at this situation and look at how we're responding and reacting, and take more proactive steps to improve. And that is the issue. And the challenge is not an issue, it's more a challenge, it's a journey. So as you become aware of the fact that you're responding, behaving, thinking, feeling in this certain way, and you want to start to change it, then you can start to take steps to change it. But it's very easy to go back to being unconscious about self, rather than, and it's more painful sometimes to continue that onward journey of self-discovery and self-awareness, because it's a continual evolution and never fully complete. And funny enough, in some of the leadership journals, it talks about the fact that people who are at the highest form of leadership actually become more self-obsessed, so they become less self-aware. They expect everyone else to change around for them rather than they change to suit what's going on. So that's really interesting insight as well, and I think it's recognizable at all levels of society. So I just thought I would share that with you today. I'll take a snapshot of this and put it in the notes below, as well as an image of this. Benefits of self-awareness and how to become a more self-aware person, and then maybe you can reflect on that for yourself, and you will be happier, less stressed, with a greater ability to regulate your emotions and understanding things from multiple perspectives, which is kind of good because we might have such a thing as an election coming up. So have a great day. I'm hoping you are well, taking care of yourself, and I'll see you again real soon. Take care. Bye.